My name's Robyn Rocket, and you're listening to the Robyn Rocket's Zoom podcast. Welcome, thank you for downloading or streaming this podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be chatting to the band Electric Fire. Electric Fire are supported by arts charity Heart and Soul, who are based at the Albany Theatre in Deptford, and I met the band in the studio at the Albany. There's 5 people in this band, and I'm new to making podcasts, and if I did it again, I'd probably interview people, maybe 2 or 3 people at a time. 5 was maybe too many at once, but I gave it a go, and here's the interview. I hope you enjoy it. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
My name is William King. I do back-end singing, and I also control the back-end loops and effects.
My name is Hima. I play drum. I singing.
My name is and I like playing synthesizer on the keyboard.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I like to play the vocals.
My name is Richard, and I support and facilitate Electric Fire.
What kind of music do you all remember listening to growing up?
I'd say a lot of rap, a lot of like deep speech rap, like rap about their life and stuff about how stuff was happening in the past and everything. That's what channeled me in my days. Favourite artist back when I was little, favourite artist was Meek Mill, and his music's a bit violent, but to be honest, I didn't go down that path, but it motivated me. And when I listen to music, I mostly listen to the track, so I never actually soak in the lyrics on music most of the time, unless it's slow, then I do, but if it's not, then it doesn't go anywhere, it just goes out of ear. But the track is like the thing that touches me the most, although shall I say the backing track, so yeah.
Kiss.
Pop music. Celine Dion.
Whitney Houston. I Always Love You.
My parents were really into the Beatles and Status Quo, and then I got into like rock music through my brother, and bands like Metallica and Green Day and stuff.
So I know you met through a project run by Heart and Soul called Do Your Own Thing. Could you tell me a bit about that?
It's face-to-face younger people.
So Heart and Soul work with young people, and what do they do?
Come to do a lot of things, learn disability.
So they work with people learning disabilities.
They have artists.
So they have artists.
Like art,
like computer game art and also drawing.
Come to Albany, draw something, make the music, like video.
So you can come to the Albany, do some drawing, make some music and maybe a video.
People come.
And how was Heart and Soul involved with Electric Fire?
It's like get involved, the band together.
Ah, right, so Heart and Soul got the band together in the first place. And can any of you remember the first time you came to Heart and Soul and what it was like?
Yes, I do go to Heart and Soul on my first time. Me and my business.
So the first time you came, you met Richard?
I wasn't there the first time you came.
Yeah, I did remember.
I wasn't. You started before I started.
Oh, yeah, I started before business.
Yeah, you started Do Your Own Thing.
I'm a kid. We're not there before us. We're just like a little boy.
So when you first came, Richard was a little boy?
No, Richard was Will, yes, yeah.
Ah, Will was a little boy.
Will was a little boy, and he played like a keyboard or something.
So Will was a little boy and he was playing a keyboard. Does anyone want to say what Do Your Own Thing is?
As Ahima said, like Heart and Soul is creative arts organisation that works with people with learning disabilities and autistic people.
Oh yeah.
And Do Your Own Thing is their young people's programme, and it's happens once a month on a Saturday, and it's for 10 to 25 year olds. So I think Ahima and Will, you started when you were like
yes.
10 or something?
Yeah, 10, yes.
10, 11. So you've done full like 15 years of it.
What was it like for you, Will, when you first came to Do Your Own Thing?
Yeah, I was a bit sceptical.
Why sceptical?
I was not used to being around people with learning disabilities, so it was a bit of I wouldn't say a challenge, but I was just in like quiet side of me was there. I was just in the corner, but I loved it actually. I was more interested in what they had going on rather than thinking who was who. My main thing wasn't to make friends, it was just to go there and mash on the drums and make some drum patterns. Me and Isaac used to have like contests on the drums because back then I didn't play anything else, it was the drums.
And that's Isaac Palm, who's in the band Too Hot for Candy.
And I think Ned was the person who helped me like play something else.
Ned is another music facilitator like Richard.
Or like start playing other stuff. So Isaac used to be on the drums all the bloody time. And I used to go in the drums. I said, Isaac, come on now. He was like, hold on, man. I'm finishing. And then Isaac would be like, okay, I'll let you finish. And after that groove or that jam session's done, I'm next. I used to hop on and be like, yeah, I'm ready now. And then Ned was like, why don't you two play something different? I was like, oh, Ned, come on, man. And I was like, yeah, Ned, come on, man. And then he was like, why don't Isaac, you play the drums? I was like, oh, God. And Ned was like, why don't William, you play the bass? I was like, yeah, let me try the bass. I don't mind, actually. And then he taught me a couple of notes. Obviously, I was not good at the finger thing, the way you actually properly do it. I always stuck to my one finger slide and everything. I didn't do the I don't know, when you flip between your fingers for using different sections of the bass line and stuff. And then that's when I started playing the piano and exploring more. It became of me just finding what did I want to do. And by the time I knew it, a few sessions in, I wasn't even playing drums the next session. I was more into like piano or even bass, and that was fun. And it was even better because then me and Isaac could make a groove, which everyone else can follow. And that happened. And then, you know, it went on and on and on.
Will, how did you start playing the drums?
I think when I was like 8 years old, my school, they had a drum kit just sitting there in the music sessions, but we never had to fully use it. We kind of had to learn notes first on the keyboard. So I was like, the drum kit was my main thing I was looking at. But I don't know. I didn't really have any lessons for drumming, to be honest. I just sat on it, explored, figured what was what. And yeah, I think I had one YouTube video I looked at break time. Sometimes I just spent my time inside the music room and played on the drums. Someone called Paul, who was a very good staff, who just like, yeah, here you go. Let me in, and I was went in there. And then people would hear me drumming and be like, oh, can I come in? Can I? I'd be like, nope. So yeah, it just made everyone else jealous, but they were just coming in to mess about and just, you know, like boogie around because there was no other staff in there.
So Rich, can you tell me a bit about what you do? Because earlier you said that you're a music facilitator. What does being a music facilitator like mean? What does it look like? How, if someone met a music facilitator, what kind of thing would they see them doing?
So I'm not like teaching music. I'm just there to support people to play instruments, and also like support people to listen to one another, maybe write songs or like record it as well. I don't know, maybe
Rich is also our Google search. So whenever
what does that mean? I'm Google. Should be a lot richer than I am, I reckon.
Yes.
Why am I Google?
Does Richard do pop-up ads?
It is, yeah, it is. Yeah.
So when I did this interview, Electric Fire just put out their first album. It's called Let's Get Lost, and Will was very involved with mixing the album. As we talked about earlier, he started Do Your Own Thing when he was 10, and he's now in his early mid-20s. And so I wanted to learn a bit about his learning process through the 2 EPs that he was involved with mixing before the album.
The new album is, well, I don't know, the new album has been produced or mixed solely with me and the staff, should I say, and but mostly me, and I've learned a lot of stuff.
So before this album, you had 2 EPs out.
First one, I didn't mix the first one, but the second one I definitely wanted in. I wanted to do something, I wanted to be involved, I wanted to know what was what and what was this. As listening through our tracks, you can hear the difference in the productions, and it's a big difference. The first one is like very high pitch and bassy, more like a dance party kind of vibe. The second one is very open and the width is very wide and it's very it's very spacey.
What about Let's Get Lost?
The album's like fully our latest of everything everyone knows into one thing. But I sat in the studio, I had like a month, mixed the album, got it done, went through the tracks, definitely knew what tracks I loved, and it was a lot to get done. Because Electric has a lot of sounds, and boy, who knows where to put them, to be honest. But we shoved them in there. So yeah, this album, the new one, Let's Get Lost, we did cut back on some of the sounds because sometimes less is nicer and it's more simpler, and you actually hear more with less. I didn't use width because I did use width in the second EP because I loved it and it made the album nice and wide. But when listening to it in mono, you couldn't hear the sounds right on the left and right sounds. And I've learnt my lesson of that. So this album we put out now, we haven't used width, or we haven't used too much of width, but
I think the width thing could be confusing if you're not into music production. In the radio show, which you can still listen to, I played a bit of a track by the Velvet Underground called The Gift. I can't do that on the podcast, but I've left the bit of speaking I did about it because you can go back and listen to the track separately. When you listen to it, one channel, I think it's left is the spoken vocal and right is the band. And so if you were listening in headphones, if you take one ear away, then you won't be able to hear either the spoken part or the music part, depending on which part of the headphone you remove. So if you ever get a chance to see Electric Fire live, or you can watch their performance of when they played at Robyn Rocket in November 2022 at robynsrocket.com, you'll see that Ahima dresses totally different to the rest of the band and he paints his face. So I just wondered what inspired you to do that.
This is the sound my first plan.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do this
No.
perform.
And so I'm going to interrupt here. I don't decide. You
decide.
send me a picture
All done
of.
time.
So it's all famous wrestlers.
Yeah, it's the one. Yusuf.
And yeah, Yusuf.
Yeah, Yusuf.
Sting.
Is Sting a wrestler?
Yeah.
Yeah, Yusuf, yeah.
not the other Sting.
Yeah.
But it's, Ahima sends me a picture, then I have to copy it.
And what about the lyrics? Who writes the lyrics?
I think what was the way Richard thought of it was a good way. I thought we should stick to that. Was we kind of just said words. We just had a day we just said words, piled them all up on the paper. Next day we made sentences out of those words, and then the next day we made meanings out of those sentences, and then the next day we actually matched the rhyme. We had to add the rhyme to those sentences and put them in together, and those stuff really helped instead of just sitting down thinking, "Ooh, what's the song gonna be about?" So yeah, I think that way that really helped, and it helped involve everyone because it wasn't just a one mind thinker. The song was gonna be what I think the song should be. So yeah, there was lots of opportunities. There was like what do you call this stuff? It was like a chain link because one sentence meant another thing, then the other sentence meant another thing. But at the same time, Alicia was also singing other stuff too, which were new, which we had to jot down. So it was more than we needed. But at the same time, we done it. I mean, we all asked ourselves, does this sound right? Does this go together and stuff? It's not, two minds work better than one.
Reminds me a bit of the cut-up technique, like it's the technique that David Bowie used to write Moon Age Daydream. David Bowie said that he was inspired by William Burroughs to use the cut-up technique, and William Burroughs said that T.S. Eliot's Wasteland was what inspired him to use the cut-up technique. And you can listen to the radio show and hear a bit of both of those writers. Anyway, that's the end of this episode of Robyn Rocket's Zoom podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. The executive producer was Paul Dutnall. It was made possible by Arts Council England. And thank you to Resonance FM for having the radio show on in the first place. And thank you to Heart and Soul for their support. And thank you to you for listening. Bye!